expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A beautiful expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. Magnificent expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A unique, unrepeatable expression of God. 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 I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. Right time, right place, an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I'm fabulous, I got it, an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A unique, unrepeatable expression of God. 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 I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit.
Welcome to Unity Comox Valley, a positive path for spiritual living. Did you listen to the words of that song we just sang? You are an expression of Spirit, a unique, unrepeatable expression of God. That we are each a perfect expression of the one presence, the one power, is one of Unity's principles, one of our 5 principles. And everything we offer here comes back to that truth, that we are creations of the one power, the one presence, the one love. And we have everything within us that we need to live and create a fulfilling life. I enjoy going to different Unity websites to hear or to read how they express our Unity principles, because we're basically, all the Unity centers are, based on the same spiritual principles, but how we articulate them and how we express them and how we communicate them are unique to each of the different ministries. So I was following Pat Clarkson's example, actually, and visiting different Unity websites and seeing how they speak their truth. And I'd like to share with you what I found on the Unity of Naples, Florida website. So as soon as you go to the front page, you'll see a tab that says, I'm new. And when you click on that, it says, we're so glad you stopped by. Before we start talking about us, let's focus on you, the reason we're here. What we already know about you is you are a unique expression of God. Living from this awareness will transform your life. You have the God-given creative power to manifest your life. When you take personal responsibility and choose life-affirming thoughts, words, and actions, you experience a more fulfilling and abundant life. And then it goes on and it says, let's tell you about unity. And this is what it says. I love these words. Unity is a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. We don't do guilt, and we're not interested in dogma. We are committed to bringing love and helping you see that there is nothing to fear. Truly, an all-loving God is closer than your breath and a living part of you. We teach consistent, spiritual practices that change lives, such as affirmative prayer, meditation, forgiveness, and contemplation. Everything we do points you toward the awakening of God within. Let's bring that into our opening prayer. Would you join me, please, as we take a moment to center ourselves in that knowing that we are inseparable from the divine, that God and I are one. That the Spirit of God lives within us fully, beautifully, powerfully, brightly. And that we express our gratitude for the tools that we have to remind us of this truth. That encourages us to keep turning within and touch this still point, this well of infinite abundance, wisdom, faith, strength, anything we think we need. It's there for us right now, right here. And we give thanks for the ways that each one of us shows up as a unique, unrepeatable expression of Spirit of God. No matter what time we are in our lives, no matter where we live, no matter what we think we can do or not do, we are here to bring forth the light, the love, the truth, the beauty, the goodness in the world. And so we say thank you in advance for the opportunities for us to be the light. And so it is. Amen. This week is the third Sunday of Lent. And as you know, Pat Clarkson and I have been taking turns speaking about the theme, which is release and renew. So Pat has got a great talk prepared for us, but first we'll start with a song, Go Out and Shine.
And shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Step out and take a chance. Walk the talk, join the dance. Relax, enjoy the ride. Let kindness be your guide. You got to go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. Go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. One voice, one hand, one heart. Wanna change, just make a start. We're one big family. What's good for you is good for me. Come on now, go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. I
I'd like to welcome Unity Comox Valley to the Sunday Morning Talk. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining Unity Victoria and listening in. In this Lenten season, we are asking you, inviting you to release and renew. To release something that hinders or blocks you from reaching the fullness of your spiritual awareness and understand your spiritual understanding of your true divine identity, and to renew, to draw into your life what you already have within you, but you may not be calling upon. Something that you want to renew within you, bring more into the light. And I believe the release and renew process is to help us to grow our spiritual awareness and to grow our spiritual understanding of our divine identity. And this week I pulled out Robert Brummett's book, The Quest for Wholeness, and that reminded me of one of the reasons I am so willing to go through release and renew over and over. And the reason is I want to be whole. I want to live from wholeness. Now, Robert Brummett defines wholeness as a divine idea. And we can't really picture what a divine idea looks like. We have different thoughts about it. For that reason, wholeness also has many aspects to it. People see wholeness differently. One idea of wholeness is that we are in balance in mind, body, and spirit. Another is that when we are in wholeness, we are in integrity with ourselves. Wholeness can mean that we are complete. We're not fragmented. We're not identifying ourselves in pieces. So I want to draw upon some of Robert Brummett's actual words about wholeness and the reason I am so willing to release and renew. Wholeness is the destination and wholeness is the journey itself. Means and ends are one. They cannot be separated. Think not so much about finding wholeness. Let your quest be one of becoming whole as you travel the path. There's nothing to discover but yourself. There's nothing worthy of the journey but the discovery of yourself. Think about those words. There's nothing worthy of the journey but the discovery of yourself. We don't go through release and renew unless we want to discover something, but we want to discover ourselves. Think about it. Because it's not always the easiest thing to do, to release something. So, yes. So release and renew are strong tools in our spiritual toolbox, strong spiritual practices we can draw upon. So I went and looked up what both these words mean. So the meaning of release, the word relax and release are closely related and they work together. Both are derived from the Latin word luxaria, which means to loosen, and they both also incorporate the prefix re, which means back or again. So release. Now, relax means to loosen up, to be less firm, to not be so structured. And then release means to set free. Release means to set free. Both imply the idea of letting go. In relaxation, we let go of tension in our mind and our body. And in releasing, we let go of people, things, thoughts, and anything that needs to be set free. I want to repeat that one. In releasing, we let go of people, things, thoughts, and anything that needs to be set free. Now, I thought, for me, releasing meant I was getting rid of something I didn't want. Let go, it's not helping me. This says releasing means to set free. And so I start to think, why would I hold on to something that causes me emotional pain. Why would I hold on to something that stops me from moving into this fullness of my spiritual being? And then I remembered that often I don't know what I'm still holding on to. That's part of this journey, is discovering it. So I don't know. And the other reason I realized in my journaling over the last 2 weeks on this is that if I've carried this belief, because for me it's always an underlying belief that drives my behavior. If I look deep enough, I'll get to the underlying belief that I don't know what I will be like if I didn't have this belief, because I live from it. This belief, when I look at it, has created the boundaries of how I make decisions, how I behave, my actions, and I'm not even aware I'm carrying that belief, or I'm still carrying that belief. So I thought, what's an example, an analogy I could use? So the one I came up with is, you got an old horse that's been living in a large pasture but has been fenced on all 4 sides its entire life. It's been to every corner of his pasture but never been beyond the fence. And then the horse's owner decides to buy a piece of property next to this pasture the old horse has lived in. And this piece of property is just like wild nature. No animal has ever grazed on the grass, and it just smells so good. And that freshness of, just in spring, think of that smell. You guys are experiencing it. And the piece of the property he bought gently slopes down to a beautiful little creek that runs through. And when you're back in the old pasture, you can smell that fresh smell of cold spring water. You can hear it running over the rocks and the birds, and it's just a piece of paradise. So the owner takes down one side of the 4 fences and opens it up. He comes up to the old horse and he says, "Come on, let's go check out your new space." And the horse walks with him until he gets to where the fence used to be. Fence isn't there anymore, but the horse knows it used to be there. And the horse stops. Now the horse sees and smells and hears this beautiful piece of land, but he won't step into it. His whole life he's had 4 fences around him, and he knows every corner of that area. And he doesn't know what's in that other area. What will it be like without 4 fences? So there's some fear, and there's some uncertainty. And what's going to define me now? Because those 4 fences have defined my world. So that explained to me why I may be holding on to things. Not even consciously. However, I have to admit that if I'm really think about it, these things have cropped up and I just push down. I go, I don't want to look at that. So yes, so there's my analogy on why I might be holding something that still causes me pain. Because you see, when we make a conscious decision to address something, so when I say, okay, I want to release being stuck, I've made a conscious decision, and as Reverend Vicky said, and I love the visualization of it, I'm going to move to the next step up. I shift the energy. The energy shifts. And when we decide to get unstuck, we don't have to expend all this energy to keep it pushed down. We don't have to expend all this energy watching to make sure nobody's judging me for what I'm hiding about myself. I've shared that I've been in my first marriage was abusive, but there's some people in my life I've realized over this 2 weeks that I am very afraid of. And these people are people that have judged me in front of others, taken what we call in the program my inventory, and I've never negated it, never stood up for myself. And so this last 2 weeks I've said, why? Why am I afraid of them? So what I started to discover this week is that there is still a part of me, and I've been working on self-worth since I was 32, and I'm 67, and I have gone a long ways, but there's still a part of me I discovered that's afraid that they're telling the truth about me. So boy, this statement that I'm going to share with you that I chose really has opened up more areas for me to work on. So when Reverend Vicki and I were deciding what we were going to speak on, I chose a sentence, a release and renew statement. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking about the statement and there was nothing behind it for me. No energy, nothing. So I said, read all the statements again. And then one came like it was flashing lights at me. And so I got a hold of Reverend Vicki and I said, are you okay if I use this statement? So the one I chose was, I release feeling stuck. I renew my will to take the next step forward. I release feeling stuck. I renew my will to take the next step forward. So we're going to take a look at these two sentences. And the first one is, I release feeling stuck. So my question to you and my question to myself has been, how do you know you're stuck? What's it feel like? What's your behavior like? For a few weeks now, I have found that I am quick to judge and quick to anger, and that's not me anymore. So those are signs to me that there's something going on. There's something needing to be addressed within me that's causing me some de-stress. So what do you notice when you're stuck? What do you notice? And I notice my shoulders are up at my neck. But yes, so how do you know you're stuck? The second part of the statement I chose is, I renew my will to take the next step forward. So how do we renew? When I was writing this, I realized I got the process of going inside myself and looking and discovering why I did it and getting it all ready to release. I got that process down. Way down, too much. I remembered Reverend Vicki lots this week because in one of her talks, I believe it was when we were looking at Ask Yourself This, the question was, what if it was easy? What if it was easy? And I thought, oh, okay, Reverend Vicki, I hear you. What if this release was easy? Okay, because my way of doing it's a long way. But how do we renew? That process I'm not so sure of. But I remembered words of Jesus. And they're from Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. And I realized as I read them, and I'm going to read them to you also, is that how do I renew? How do we renew? We shift out of our human nature into our spiritual nature. Being stuck means I'm in my human nature. I'm not coming from the attributes of my spiritual nature. So here is the answer I got. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Remember Unity's fifth principle, knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called the truth, are not enough. A person must live the truth they know. And we don't have to, and I say this all the time, we don't have to have lots of knowing, but the spiritual knowing we have, we've got to live from that. And if I live from that, I understand Jesus' words of asking. Because if I'm coming from my spiritual nature, I know that I am divine. And there's all this about me that's good. So, release and renew. So back to the statement, I renew my will to take the next step forward. So we've looked at the word renew, and now we're going to look at will. And there's two types of will, and we both know that: human will or God's will, self-will or thy will, divine will. So human will does not sustain. If we're coming from human will, we probably won't succeed. And I think of things like trying to change a habit or New Year's resolutions. And if I'm coming from human will, when the going gets tough, I bail. Because all of a sudden I'll say, oh, is this habit so bad that I gotta really change it? You better believe I'll go, no, if I'm coming from human will, it's not that important. I'll just stop trying to change it. Or, gee, I didn't get another New Year's resolution didn't get achieved. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that. But Linda Martel-Whitsett, in her book, Divine Audacity, informs us our brains favor survival and safety, which means we tend to exert our will in the direction of self-preservation. Thus, when it gets tough, I'll bail if I'm coming from my human will, my self-preservation, saying, oh no, you don't want to sweat it out. And what's really interesting, when we come from spiritual will, we don't have to sweat it out. It's totally different. I'm going to draw from Divine Audacity again to talk about the power of will and its three components. And the power of will's three components are choice, commitment, and willingness. The choosing power of will is our ability to choose a possibility among infinite possibilities. When we're coming from spiritual will, we choose the one that's right for us. And it sets our energy in motion. Because remember, once we make a decision, a choice to move to the next step, we've already changed our energy. So it brings a shift in consciousness. The second component of spiritual will is commitment. Commitment is the sustaining power of will. Commitment is the integrity meter. When I'm coming from spiritual will and I go, oh, is it really that important? The commitment of spiritual will says, yeah, it is, Pat. It was your intention. You chose it. Coming from a spiritual place, you've made this decision. So it brings me back to the path. So we have the power of spiritual will has the components of choice, commitment, and the third one is willingness. If commitment is the sustaining power of will, willingness is the fuel that makes the commitment possible. A willing spirit is the epitome of spiritual willpower. So the statement was, I renew my will to take the next step forward. Now, during my life, I've had many things I've wanted to do. Just project, learn, do something. And I always chose work. I always put work first and said, when the work is done, then I'll do this. Well, work is never done. So now I'm retired. And I realized that I am still not doing those things on my list. And in my journey, Elena, I thought, why do I not make time for me to do those things? Like, why? And I thought, well, is it what I'm choosing? But it isn't. I love what I want to do. It really interests me, and I've got all the freedom and all the time. So all the boxes are positive, and I'm still not doing it. So remember what I changed my release and renew? So I wrote in my journal, where am I stuck? And when I get stuck, I realize I've got a belief, an underlying belief that I'm not aware of that's driving my behavior. So I wrote in my journal, what is the underlying belief that stops me from using this time I've got and these things I want to do? Why am I not doing them? And I wrote it out in my journal, and I left it in the universe and went about my day. And I knew that I would get an answer. I didn't know how I'd get an answer, but I knew that if I was open and receptive, I would get an answer. So a few days later, I was on a Zoom call with two dear friends, and I got my answer. I was sharing my thoughts about my van and my old dog and just being on the road and traveling. And I said, you know, I'm finding the walls of my house confining. And one of my dear friends got this funny look on her face, and I said to her, share with me what you're thinking. And so she shared, and this is what I heard. And she said, are you coming from your human nature or your spiritual nature with this? Like, because if you're coming from your human nature and you're feeling your house confining, then you're not coming from your spirit, because our spiritual nature, we're free no matter where we are. And so she said, I'm just not sure where you're coming from. Maybe, you know, and I said, I'll take a look. So I want to share with you what I wrote in my journal after this incident. Bless her for her courage to speak. You see, I trust her explicitly that she would not do anything to harm me. And because it was her, I knew she had no personal agenda, nothing to gain. Because of this, I allowed myself to experience what I felt when she shared those words. Are you sure? Where are you coming from? It was like I had been punched in the gut. All the air left my lungs. All the air went out of me. Even though I physically did not do it, in my mind's eye, I saw myself hang my head in shame. I was saying to myself, why did I speak? Why did I ever think this was a good idea? You know your ideas hold no value. I need to remember where I rate, where I am in the pecking order. All of this was very familiar. I knew this feeling. I'd lived through it before many times in my life. I realized that my reaction in that moment was why I do not make time for what is important to me. Her words had uncovered deep inside me a belief about my self-worth. Now, I've worked hard, like I said, on my self-worth for 34 years. I've come a long way, but there were things, there's a woundedness that still needs to be healed. And it's not large, but it's enough of a woundedness to stop me from doing what I want to do. And I keep putting it on my list, and I keep finding other things, work things, not this talk isn't work, but housework and do this, and oh heavens, yes. So there were shadows, there's still tendrils of that message that I do not rate. I am not of value. So in the last 2 weeks, I've been stuck in my grief over the fact it's still here. I thought it was gone. I thought when I realized I am enough in my living room in Victoria, that meant that I had dealt with it all. So I've been angry. I felt sorry for myself. Moments I felt also. But how did that happen? I thought I had worked through it. So I looked at the second part of the statement, and I looked at Will, and I need to renew the will to take the next step forward. And what was the next step forward? That was puzzling to me. And I realized it's not asking me to do everything at once or get rid of it. It's asking me to renew my willingness to take the next step forward. I had to pray to become willing, because, yeah, I was angry at times. Then I read something totally unrelated to spirituality, not even close. And here's what I read. Radical acceptance, in brackets, noun. Completely and totally accepting a situation from the depths of your body, mind, and spirit. Radical acceptance. Completely and totally accepting a situation from the depths of your body, mind, and spirit. And that so reminded me of Brahma's teaching of radical self-awareness. And then the next principle is deep self-acceptance. But I like this radical acceptance. That's what I needed to hear. And it reminded me of Gary Dorns from Unity Comox Valley, who was a teacher when I was asking questions in the TLC class about denials and affirmations. And I remember one day Gary looked over at me and just said, yes, I acknowledge the reality. And Reverend Vicky had said this too, but Gary looked at me quietly and said, but it has no power over me. I affirm. Like he was just... So I read it again, Radical Acceptance, and I thought, this is my next step forward. I have to totally and completely accept that this was part of my life and I have more work to do on it. That there was still woundedness that needed healing. And what I realized when I accepted it in that moment, it had lost its power over me. And I was done my grieving. I had become unstuck. I had become unstuck. The lights were back on for Pat, this capital L light, spiritual light. So I said, okay, so now that I've become willing, what is the next step forward? And the next step forward was I had to remember what I know. So the question to me was, and it wasn't even a question, it was a statement. Remember what you know. And what do I know? I know I am a spiritual being tasting human experiences. Yes, some days I feel like I'm not tasting, I'm taking a big bite out of human experiences. But I am been given the gift of life. I'm a spiritual being that's been given the gift of life to experience human life. So yes, I am moving forward. And this was the other thing I remember, and this is what I will close with. I remember the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me. So thank you for listening to me and my journey of the last 2 weeks, and I hope there's some nugget in there for you. And so it is. We are now going to listen to Karen Drucker's song, Loving Kindness. I'm going to invite you to listen to the words, the music, the intent of the song. Allow yourself to become one with it and set yourself into that place of stillness and silence for when we go into the meditation. At the end of the song, I will be joining you with meditation. Namaste.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be May you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease, and may we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease, and may we be happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease, and I am happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease. I am happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease, and I am happy. I am happy. I am happy.
I am filled with loving kindness. I am loving kindness in physical form. I am filled with loving kindness. I am responding with loving kindness. I am filled with loving kindness. My heart is full of love for who I am. In the silence, I am loving kindness. In the silence, I am. My heart blooms with compassion as I meet others in love. I bless them, seeing only their divine identity. Wherever I go and whomever I meet, my heart hears a call for love and holds the sweetest desire to sow the seed of love. I am loving kindness, and so it is.
Well, did you enjoy Pat's talk? You know, it was her idea for us to do this series together, and truly, I have been so blessed by listening to her wisdom and her insights and sharing so beautifully and powerfully from her heart. So thank you so much, Pat. I love what she said about the words renew and release. That release and relax come from the same origins, which I thought was really interesting. Release means to loosen, to set free. And the re part of it is that we get to do it again. Renew is to realign ourselves with the truth again. To establish ourselves in our wholeness again. The re part also reminds us that we already have this within us. We do not need to create it or to find it or to discover it or go search for it. We are just consciously bringing ourselves back into alignment with it. If you'd like to talk about these ideas some more, please join us Sundays, 11:30 for fellowship. The link is in your newsletter. We've had some very rich, really rich and enjoyable conversations. So please, especially if you start this service at 10:30 on Sunday mornings, then you can just go grab a cup of coffee and click onto your Zoom link and experience and participate in the fellowship. There are many ways of connecting with others spiritually. As you know, we are looking at Unity Vancouver Island as an idea or as a concept so that we can share our resources and have more opportunities for spiritual expression and learning. Unity Nanaimo has an online group, has several online groups actually that you might be interested in exploring. If you go to their website, you can find them. If you, in the newsletter, there's a link to some of those. So there are many opportunities on Vancouver Island to get together with your Unity friends all up and down the island and share together and learn from each other. Here's a thought Diane Jung sent to be shared from Joan Borisenko's book. March is here. The month of coming and going, the changing of the guard. Winter gives way to spring. Darkness gives way to light. Fear gives way to courage. We are asked to fast from fearful thinking and fill ourselves instead with faith. Great Spirit, thank you for a new day and a new month. Day by day, the coldness of winter gives way to the warmth of spring, as the first shoots of new life appear from beneath the barren ground. Likewise, may I begin to see new growth in myself as I approach old fears with greater courage and the faith that all situations, seen rightly, are an opportunity for growth in love and wisdom. And so it is. Thank you, Diane. Unity Comox Valley practices generous giving. In 2020, we gifted some of our local community organizations $3,000. We just received a thank you letter from Dawn to Dawn, and I wanted to share part of that with you. So this is from Dawn to Dawn, Action on Homelessness Society. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Dawn to Dawn, we want to thank you for your generous gift. Working together, we can continue to bring the homeless in from the cold. She lists a number of initiatives that they had last year, but I just wanted to share this one with you. Last year, the Comox Rotary Club purchased 4 shipping containers and with volunteer labor built 4 permanent and tiny homes. It is impossible to express how much this meant to the individuals housed there. One terminally ill fellow who had been living on the street was able to spend his last few months in the warmth and dignity of his own home. As we work to build resources, we hope to take more people off the street in 2021. And with your help, our dream seems a little closer to being realized. So thank you for your generous contributions. Would you now join me in this affirmation? Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Namaste, and now for the peace song.